Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where in between episodes I did move our ladder back over here so you can see we've got the ladder on the shuttle on both sides. So we don't need to worry about our ladder still being out here on the Kibo. Now, we have not strutted that into position yet. What we need to do at this time is get our shuttle down over by the pressurized section here. Have to get that terminology correct. Down by the pressurized section, because we're going to need to relocate that from here up to here. We also need to get this strutted into place. We have a fair number of struts here, and there are definitely other struts here on the station. But we're currently headed in a backwards vector from our current angling at about half a meter per second. So we're just heading slowly down here, and we're just going to want to kind of curve this over eventually. So let's just warp down a little bit here, down to about this position or so. And let's bring this to a halt. So it'll just come down to a relative speed of 0. One question that I have here. Did we leave a docking port here? Actually, we did. So we should set this docking port here as our target. Let me just go around the smart ASS here. And we can, at that point, lock onto it with this. Now that I think about it. So we can extend this guy straight on out, and we can grab onto that here, and that should do the trick. So all we need to do here then is rotate a bit. Oh, this is RCS on. Okay, without the RCS on, rotate a bit here, and then once we are not exactly aligned here, but once we're kind of close to aligned, then we can just start moving backwards. This is a little overshooty. Let's bring that to a halt. There we go. Somewhere around here or so. Now, this is definitely not perfect angling. I am concerned about that tail, but what we can do is we can just turn this around and go forward instead of going backwards. So that should be reasonably okay. So if we just rotate this right on around, we can just hook onto the back here, then undock it from up here. And while we're here, we can probably do some struts on this module here. So that'll be absolutely wonderful. We can see this is largely pointing towards target here. I want to line this up to be basically in line towards target, but I want to go a bit below the target, somewhere around here or so. Now we can turn our RCS on, and we can head in at somewhere around half a meter per second or so. That should be fine. So somewhere around here, and let's just nudge that on over a bit. There we go. And we'll just push forward here a bit. So this will be fine. Obviously, we are undershooting it, right? We're going underneath it, but that is to be expected. That is exactly what we want here. Let's come out of our warp about now-ish. And we can start thinking about what this lineup will look like. We're going to need to come to a halt on our forward vector very soon. And for the moment, I'm just going to not control from here. I'm just going to eyeball this. So let's start coming to a halt about now. Going to need to adjust our vector a little bit while we're doing this, somewhere around here or so. Okay. And now I want to try controlling from here and seeing how close we are. That's actually quite close. We can point at target here. And then we're going to need to go slightly forward, but mostly towards target. So from this vector, that forward vector is going to be here. We'll go in at a relatively low pace. But in terms of forward, in terms of the shuttle, that's going to be over to the right. Okay. And we're just going to sit here until we are a little bit closer to lined up. Right a little further here. Yeah, we definitely need to go slightly more to the right here. It's very, very close now. I'm going to bring this back. And we'll see how lined up we are here. I think it's really, really close. I want to move in at around a relatively slow pace here. I'm a little concerned about our tail hitting the laboratory here. So I'm going to turn RCS off for the moment, and I'm going to yaw us. Or hang on. What direction are we going here? Okay, this is not great. We're going to need to roll this way. Directionality is awkward right now. But we want to come in over here. So we're going to need to adjust our RCS, obviously. We need a fair amount of adjustment here. That roll was awkward. No doubt about that. So we're going to need to go over to the left-hand side here, which from our current perspective is actually up. And we're going to need to go, I think, back a little bit, but for now, I'm not too concerned about that back vector. Okay. This is looking reasonably decent. Yeah, I'm really not concerned about that back vector. I think we probably have that relatively under control. Okay, I'm getting rid of that sideways lateral movement here. Okay, and in terms of that back vector, I think we pretty much had it, but let's get a little bit here. So we're just in that backwards vector right now, lining up in this angle. I was just concerned about this tail, so I wanted to attack this from a slightly different angle here. But overall, this looks decent. Yeah, this is not terrible. Probably not amazing, but it's not terrible either. So let's just start bringing this a little bit in here. What vector is this? Okay, gotcha. So we can just do a little bit of correction here. This should be a pretty solid vector to grab this at. I don't think we're going to have significant issues here. We might be slightly off on one side or another, but docking forces will likely compensate for that. So let's just grab our pressurized module here, and then we'll just move it on over. That's the idea. No, that looks solid. Yep, we immediately dock. I like it. So from here, I'm going to have Bill EVA. And what is Bill going to do? Well, Bill is going to immediately do a little bit of construction here. Specifically, we're going to remove this strut. We're in move mode? Okay. We're going to remove this strut, and we're going to replace it. Can we climb up a little bit? Well, we're trying to rotate this strut right now. Let's just put it in the cockpit for the moment. We're just slightly out of reach here. So I'd like to climb up just a bit. We can reach here, apparently, now. So that should, I think, be within reach. So let's get in position over here. Oh, it's very close. Very, very close. We can strut it from here up to here. Okay, we'll do that for now. That should hold that more stable. We can also, of course, at this point, hop over to the station here, and we can retract this telescoping hydraulic cylinder down to somewhere around half extension or so. Somewhere around here, just to get us a little bit closer in. Okay, so with that there, let's just see what we can do as far as getting additional struts in here. This should be much better as far as that goes. So, I want to get a strut from, like, this PMA, ideally, but we'll see if we can get one out over here. Yeah, we can get one from, say, here. And eventually it'll get caught up. There we go. Up to here. So we've managed to get 2 struts in here. That should make it relatively rigid. I don't think we have the range to get any more up this way for now. We would have to get a little closer. We definitely could do that, but I'm not too concerned about it at this exact moment. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that right now. So we'll just hop in. And I would like to undock from here. So we're just going to undock here. There we go. And hop over to the shuttle here. and we're going to be in kill rot, RCS, and I want to just pull in the down vector a little bit. So really this is the up vector here, but that's fine. This now becomes our docking port target. We just need to get a little bit of space here, and I don't really care what rotation orientation this thing gets attached on at. So let's just turn this thing a little bit out this direction. We're going to need to rotate it upside down. But let's get oriented over here first. Overshooting that a fair amount there. Okay. But it doesn't really matter all that much. So let's just get this turned upside down. Excellent. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this velocity that we've got. So, RCS on, and let's change our vectoring here. Everything is inverted because we're upside down. Okay. So everything is inverted. We're going to just make our way on up here. I want to move from this vector, honestly, a bit out to the right. It's inverted, so that's going to be out to the left. We need a little bit more space out over here. No doubt about that. And we can see that we're not quite in the correct vertical orientation. There we go. We're going to do something about like this. So we're just going to get some leftward room here so that we don't clip anything with our wings. There we go. And let's just get some distance there. There we go. And let's bring that right on back. And we're going to need to go up here. So that should be in the down vector. And that is indeed exactly the direction we want to go. So that's okay. We just want to loop this right on around and be parked about here. So, actually, it's the up vector. I got that backwards. Exciting. We want to go in the up vector here. So we're going to go up a bit. We're not in exactly the correct orientation for this, but that is fine. I'm not too concerned right now. We're just doing our, like, broad strokes right now in terms of getting our positioning here. So we're going to have a little bit of problems with this guy here. I think we want to come in with our tail on this side. So that's going to end up meaning, first off, we're going to need to get rid of this upward velocity. So down we go. Then we're going to have to head over here. Or actually kind of, well, we'll just bring it to a halt for the moment. Yeah, we'll just bring it to a halt and then head forward a little bit, because that is going to need to happen. So bringing this guy down to here and then heading forward. Okay, so we need to get in approximate position in terms of this forward vector. And that's going to get us a little bit of extra height too, which I don't mind. That's actually reasonably fine. So in terms of this forward vector, it'll end up being somewhere around here or so. We'll bring this guy back. And we're just braking for the moment. And once again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Broad strokes. That's what we're going for here. So now let's change our orientation here a little bit. Oh, this is going to wiggle around a lot. We need to strut this. I forgot to strut this. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Strut here. Strut here. There we go. That should make it a lot more rigid. So now we are going to nose up here from the perspective of the shuttle. And that's overshooting a bit, but it's fine. Let's see. We need to go this direction and orient ourselves out over here. So we're going to need to go a little bit more this direction, I think. But for now, it would be something kind of like this. Overshooting that one. But that's kind of normal at this point. We've been overshooting all of these. Eventually, I might get the hang of this, but I probably won't. Okay, so somewhere around here. Turns out doing all of this, like, vector composition is complicated. Okay, we need to go Overshooting it a little further. Are we on kill rot? Please be on kill rot. Thank you. Okay, so I want to orient ourselves somewhere around here, and let's change our roll to be approximately in line with the station. Approximately. It does not have to be perfect. Now we want to go out to the left because we know we're going to need additional distance out over here. So let's bring this over until target is kind of in line here. And we can see it starting to move. Okay, that's 0.5 meter per second right there. That should be decent. That target marker is still moving. And it's moving in the correct direction, of course. So that's great. Do we have enough height here? Probably not, is what I think. That's the current theory. But we're not too concerned about height right now. Right now, all we're trying to do is move this into position horizontally. We'll get the height here in a moment. So we're pretty close at this point, and it should end up being somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a little bit off center, so it'll be somewhere around here or so. We'll bring this down to a halt. It's going to be a fair amount of RCS to do that, actually. I might have overshot this a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. We're still in broad strokes here. Yeah, it looks like it's a very slight overshoot, but honestly, this is at a bit of an angle, so I'm not concerned about it. So at this point, we need to go in the up vector and get a little bit more space here. It doesn't need to be a lot. Something around... Yeah, it really doesn't need to be all that much. Something around here or so is probably okay. Let's bring it to a halt about now. That should be plenty of height to work with. So that'll be fine. Then we're going to want to start going a bit forward. And we're still going to be eyeballing this from the shuttle's perspective here. We're not going to be switching perspective here just yet. Interesting. Let's move towards shuttle a bit here. We are a little off in our vectors, so I want to bring this guy down to about here. There we go. We just hadn't fully removed all of our vectors, and that's fine. That's not shocking at all. So we're going to head in. I'm wondering, how are we doing on that height? I think we're actually going to need additional height. Yeah, we definitely are going to need additional height here. So we're going to bring this up and over, composing our two vectors together here. So we've got height vector and we've got forward vector. That is fine. No problem whatsoever there. We can definitely do something with that. I think we have enough height as of, I think still not quite yet. About now or so. So let's start getting that height component of the vector removed. And bringing that just to being a forward vector. Now our forward vector, we're not perfectly aligned, so that still does bring with it a small amount of height. So I'm going to actually overshoot this a little bit in terms of the down vector. So somewhere around here or so. Cool. And now we can just head forward a little bit. Yeah, let's warp forward just a smidge here. Okay, now I'm going to stop with that height correction, and let's bring this into a halt in a moment here. We're not quite in position yet. We need to go a little bit further, but we should probably start our braking very, very soon. In fact, I'm starting it now. Okay, somewhere about there. Now I'm going to control from here, and we're going to point at target. So it's not perfect, but we'll just get that alignment set up. I'm thinking about the distance here. I think that Bill actually has to EVA here And what we need to do at this point is we need to grab this strut, which is going to need to be replaced. But then we just put that in the cockpit for now. And this is going to immediately start, like, swinging back and forth, right? So just go on to kill rot, please. But we need to extend this arm out right now. And it's just absolutely swinging back and forth, which is expected. At this point, I want to swap back to Bill. We just, I think, needed a little bit more distance here. And then we can do our strut from here. As soon as it gets caught up. There we go. Out to here. And just get that a bit under control. Okay. So we can see here that we are not exactly lined up, although that's not shocking. We can get a little bit more lined up here. This is actually looking pretty decent. I think we need to go slightly forward. So slightly forward would be in the down vector, looks like. Okay. That's fine. This looks reasonable. I think maybe a little further. I'm still concerned about impacting up here. But let's just head towards the location at this point. I think we have enough room to do this. I think. But it's going to be close. It's going to be real close. Okay, we docked. Beautiful. So that is now moved. And at this point, that's going to need to get strutted in. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Bill EVA. This has like handholds that we can grab onto, right? So we're just going to head on down over here. Where are you at, Bill? Where are you at, Bill? There you are. You're just kind of freely tumbling. Okay, phenomenal. So we are going to hop on over here. Bill? You okay? There you go. You're kind of in the right place. Kind of. Okay, grab on here. That'll do. So now what we need to do is we need to do some more strutting. So we can't actually reach here. Noted. So we're probably going to have to pass some parts around. For the time being, I think our best bet as far as getting this strutted in is going to be to move some struts. There might be some in this hitchhiker storage container. In fact, I suspect that there are. That said, this is all in the correct location now, so that's good. We don't want to ultimately have this docking port on here, so that docking port is going to get removed. Oh, we can grab this strut here. That's actually kind of convenient. So we'll take that, and we are going to strut from here down to here, just to add in at least some amount of rigidity. There we go. We'll want to add more struts there. We could steal this one and get the shuttle out of here. And that's maybe not the worst idea in the world. If we climb up over here, can we reach inside of the shuttle? Sadly, no. Okay. Well, for the time being, let's just hop over this direction. And that will allow us access to these struts that are in the shuttle. So I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to strut from here. As soon as the game gets caught up. There we go. Up to here. There we go. And Bill's going to do actually no weld animation there. That's fine. We'll grab from here, and we're going to go from here to here. As soon as the game gets caught up again, it'll take it a moment. There we go. That'll do. And finally, I want to grab... We're going to need to go up a bit here. This is not a great strut here. We might redo that one. But we'll grab this strut, and that will go from here. As soon as the game gets caught up. There we go. Over to about here. There we go. I'm not super happy with this strut. Let's just grab on over here. There we go. And let's redo this one. So we'll place that here and just take it straight down is the idea, rather than having it go all wonky like that. So it'll be something along the lines of that. That'll do. That's all strutted together nicely. So now what I want to do is I want to head out over this direction, because we know that we want to have additional struts over this way. Now, we can grab on to perhaps this science lab here. That might be a little too far away. We might be better off grabbing onto the hitchhiker storage container here. Which, where's the ladder on that? On the far side? Okay. I checked all of the sides except this one. Perfect. Let's head up over here. And we're just going to grab on here. There's a lot of struts here, and so this will be absolutely fine for getting the pressurized module strutted in. So we'll grab this strut, and I kind of want to strut this over to the PMA. So we'll go here and connect that here. And then we will strut this to this PMA. So from here to here. And that should be absolutely fine as far as getting all of this strutted together nicely. Yeah, that should do the trick. So that's all strutted on now. And at this point, what we need to do is we need to... Come on, Bill. We need to head back up over here, because we have a little bit more work to do here. But we're actually very close to done with this portion. So up we go. This is actually a lot of upward velocity. And let's just head directly onto this ladder. There we go. I'm going to unstrut this, and I'm going to store this in the hitchhiker storage container. That'll do. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to undock the shuttle and pull it away from the station a little bit. So that is going to get undocked here. Okay, shuttle, you need to be heading away from the station. So that is going to be in the up vector. And just be on kill rot, please. Okay, so we're just going to very slightly pull that away from the station, but I also want to unextend this hydraulic cylinder, and we can just stow this away at this point. There's nothing left that we need to do with the shuttle, I think, so we can just close the doors there. But we have a little bit more to do here. Specifically, I just want to grab this docking port, and we'll just store it inside as a spare docking port. That'll be fine. Okay, now Bill can release his grip here, and he can head back to the shuttle. The shuttle is, I believe, at this point, ready to make its way home. It is, of course, in very close proximity to the station here, and so it will need a little bit of work there. But for now, let's get Bill back inside. Bill and his scary, scary face. Let's just hop right on in here. Go ahead and climb down, which is actually up. There we go. Fantastic. And at this point, I want to head out in this direction, because I don't want to accidentally clip the Canadarm either. So we're just going to get ourselves a wee bit of distance here. Cool. And with that, it is pretty much time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Next episode, we're going to bring these guys home, and then we're going to need to bring up the S5 and S6 trusses, and that will be absolutely fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.